on the jump. Ramona Shelburne writes, quote, "For 2 decades, footage from the Bulls' last dance sat in a vault in Secaucus, New Jersey. Michael Jordan controlled the rights, and he was not ready to make a documentary. But on the day of the Cavaliers championship parade in 2016, he finally said yes." Tracy, knowing MJ like you do, is it a coincidence or not a coincidence that MJ greenlit this documentary after LeBron, I don't know, won his 3rd title by coming back from being down 3-1 against the 73-win team?
Could it be MJ felt his legacy was being threatened by King James? I doubt that, but it's for a great story. I like the sound of it.
Well, let me just take you back there, because LeBron, in an interview with Sports Illustrated that summer, was feeling pretty chesty and felt that he was challenging Jordan. So
chasing his ghost, right, Brian?
Yeah, the two of them were kind of on the same wavelength. I doubt they were talking about it, but maybe, LeBron smelling it, Jordan smelled it a little bit too. But hey, if that's what it took to get us this series right now, I'm glad it happened.
Since Michael Jordan to the Max was released in theaters following the final season of MJ with the Bulls. Now it will return to IMAX theaters, being re-released today. So Shannon, what do you make of the timing of this release?
Really, Skip? You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I didn't say a word.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And whomever released this and whomever gave them the green light to release this ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Because?
Because you know what's happening tonight. You can do all the releasing you want to, but all they're going to do is show old footage. We're still shooting our movie. You can go see a movie that's already been shot, edited, or you can watch live a movie.
You're talking about Space Jam 2?
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. You can get an opportunity to be on the set and watch this movie that's going to be released. And you get an opportunity to say, Skip, you know, when they shot Glory back in the late 80s in Savannah, Georgia, Michael Broderick and Denzel, I saw it. Could have been an extra. No, I saw that.
You could have been an extra?
I could have been an extra.
Well, why weren't you?
No. That was my time, acting wasn't my gig. I thought about it, but I want a big, they wouldn't let me have no big part.
If you'd been an extra in that movie, you probably would have gotten shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Skip, this is ridiculous. Skip, come on now. You can't stop progress. Progress must progress. And is it that convenient, Skip, on the night that LeBron could potentially clinch his 4th ring, could be possibly a 4-time Finals MVP, that this is a movie that was released 20 years ago is getting re-released? Really, Skip?
Really?
I can't believe you. And you okay with this?
Oh, I love it.
Don't worry about it. Ain't nobody going to see it. With the pandemic, ain't nobody going to sit in no movie theater to see a movie that they've already done saw.
Well, speaking of the pandemic, they really already saw this movie because it was called The Last Dance documentary, and it aired right on time when we had no sports, and every Sunday night we all waited for the next installment of The Last Dance.
I was busy.
Which became the last dance for your GOAT argument for your man, LeBron James.
No.
I believe that as Michael Jordan nears 60 years of age, recently he's had a couple of awakenings. I need to accomplish 2 things with a documentary and Jordan to the max, MJ to the max. Number 1, he needed to sort of make up for all of the racial and social justice that he avoided being a driving force for all those many years as a player and even all those many years post-career.
Correct.
When he just hung out on the golf course for the most part and occasionally looked over his basketball team. Not very well, I must add. And so it stained his reputation because as a GM, I've said it from the start, you can make a case he's been the worst GM in the history of this league. As a player personnel developer in Charlotte, he has not been very good.
No.
We get that. So he needed to accomplish that, and he needed also to obviously try to silence the billions of new blind witnesses out there who are trying to make the laughable case that your man LeBron James is actually better than Michael Jordan was. And I think he got a stomach full of that, a belly full of it, to the point he said, that's enough.
Yeah.
I need to remind everyone just what I did, exactly what I did. So he even signed off on some unknown, sort of unedited footage from practices back in 1998 that displayed the cold-blooded assassin that was Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the baddest man on the planet then, and I think that ever was.
Yeah, but we got a new bad man now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he's
It's his
the
time.
baddest man.
It's his time.
Well, as Mike Malone said, who was an assistant for LeBron for 5 years in Cleveland, he said LeBron didn't have the killer mentality that Jordan did.
Can you ask, why didn't they ask him that after Game 5?
Well, he probably said the same thing because he believes the same thing, because that wasn't about the Nuggets
Yes,
versus
it was.
LeBron. This is about Jordan. You've set the bar as high as you say he's better than Jordan.
Yeah.
And Mike Malone says, well, I was an assistant for 5 years. I saw him up close and personal.
Yeah.
I saw him fold against Orlando. I saw him fold against Boston.
Skip. You keep saying he folded. He averaged 38, 8, and 8 over 6 games. That's not folding.
Boy, he folded against Boston because his owner accused him of quitting.
27, 19, and 10, what he had in Game 6. He averaged
Someone
28.
from his inner circle leaked that he had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 against Boston in 2010.
Yeah, like somebody leaked us. He had the flu or he had food poisoning. Somebody that leaked it. Okay, then, Skip, we're not going to do this. But you know what he's trying to do. He's trying to stunt our progress, but we full steam ahead.
Are you?
We marching on.
The Last Dance was your last dance.
No, it ain't.
In your GOAT argument. You know it, and I know
20
it.
years from now, when we release our documentary, when and how I became the GOAT, we'll have 20, 30, 40 million views.
So the release of Jordan to the Max is all about LeBron winning
Exactly.
his cubic zirconium
No, it ain't,
fourth
Skip.
ring. It
Nope,
is.
nope.
It's right on time. It's perfectly positioned to say, wait a second, remember me? Yes, we do remember you.
And
We got it.
Yeah, Skip, we remember. Our mind is okay. We're not like somebody else who forgot that it was 4th down last night. Our mind is perfectly fine. But we also are capable of understanding there's a new guy in town. There's a new sheriff, Skip.
And it's okay to be the 5th or 6th best sheriff.
Don't do
in the
that.
history of the game.
No, Skip,
Yep.
stop. See, there you go. Now you're going to talk about the 5th. We number 1. Which, Skip, and I keep telling you this, Skip, we're not done. There's nothing else Michael Jordan can do to add to his legacy in basketball. There's nothing. He can't get another ring. He can't get another MVP, another Defensive Player of the Year, another scoring title.
Except he can unbrainwash the billions of blind witnesses who actually believe LeBron's better than Jordan. And they would say that, a lot of the kids would say that, and they don't even know what they're talking about until they watched The Last Dance and they were like, uh-oh.
Hey, Skip, just imagine. Skip,
It's over.
Just imagine when we take 40 hours of footage and we only put LeBron great plays like they did in The Last Dance. Huh?
Baddest man
They
ever.
should have put those when he got swept by the Celtics twice. When he got beat by the Milwaukee Bucks, and all they had was Sidney Moncrief and Junior Bridgman and Big Bob Lanier. Why didn't they put that in there? Or when he had a 2-1 lead on the Bad Boy Pistons, and they walked him down 4 straight.
So when we see
3 straight.
when we see the LeBron documentary, will it lead with his meltdown against Orlando, then against Boston,
No.
then against Dallas in the finals?
No, we edited all that out
His
like y'all did.
meltdown at the end of Game 6 against my Spurs, and then, wait a second, getting blown off the court by my Spurs in
No.
2014 by a record finals margin?
no.
Will that be all in the documentary?
Yeah, because I was waiting to see when Nick Anderson stole the ball from Jordan and dunked it and sent him home, sent him packing. Was that in there? Do you remember that, Skip?
When he came back from playing baseball, because he got forced out for 2 years?
I don't know where he came from. I don't know where. Maybe he came from Mars. Maybe he was in Cancun. All I know, he was on the court and they beat the brakes off him.
So how can you make a case that a guy 3-6 in the finals is better than a guy who owned the finals at 6-0 with 6 MVPs?
Hey, We're not look. I'm not gonna let you use different criteria because if we're doing it about titles, it's Bill Russell and nobody else should have a conversation.
Okay.
But if you're doing it about totality, see, that's what you do. When you say it's just about rings, because how does somebody got 6 rings? 6 is more than 3. I say, well, 11 is more than 6. But it's about other things.
Wait, how about 10 scoring titles to 1 for LeBron?
Skip.
How do you defend that? You can't.
Because LeBron James.
Jordan to the max.
If LeBron James wanted to win scoring titles, he would. Because that's what you told me about Jordan averaging more rebounds, more assists. Well, he didn't want to do that. Well, LeBron didn't want to score. He wanted to do all things.
How do you explain that a guy won the scoring title and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year? That's GOAT.
And got beat. And did he get to the finals? He didn't even get to, not only did he not get to the NBA finals, he didn't get to the Eastern Conference finals.
Wow.
Or did he? I think the bad boy Pistons beat him 4-1.
I think I'm going to go to IMAX tonight.
No, okay, go ahead. As scared as you is, as scared, you and Ernestine hadn't even been out the house
We haven't
in
been
5 months.
We haven't been out to eat.
I know you haven't. In 5 months, y'all drive around the city. I see you driving around. Don't think I don't see you. Driving around the city, but you ain't going in no place. So I already know you're not going. Ernestine ain't going to go into no movie. And she love the movie. She not going.
We're gonna sit 20 feet apart and watch my man Michael dominate.
Yeah, it ain't about you and her sitting apart. It's about everybody else in the theater not sitting apart.
The thing is that every generation, especially the younger generation, now knows how great Michael Jordan is after watching The Last Dance, but this just feels petty. It just feels a little petty.
Yeah.
Releasing
Petty
it.
LaBelle.
He wants a spotlight back from LeBron. I get it, though, but that's Jordan's thing. So, like, it kind of makes sense, too.
Teddy Pendergrass.
Right? He needs the spotlight.
He ought to be ashamed of himself, Skip.
Yeah,
if LeBron had done this, this should be beneath LeBron. This should be beneath him.
But we're moving on because how well did Tom Brady perform in the Bucs' loss last night? We'll talk about that next.
No mercy, no